Let us now move on to my favorite research study, and it
Oh,
was
it
in.
is.
Well, they all are, but this one was in collaboration with Hestens,
Yeah.
and we got the chance to collect staff and customer interviews directly in their 5 showrooms in New York, which is a dream come true for me.
Yeah, that's why you love that study, because you were able, you could go to New York and stay there
Yes.
for a couple of weeks. Yeah.
But also,
Yeah.
as a researcher, it's also important to understand that it's great to be in the store and talking to the people and seeing what happening in the store. Um, and for the audience that doesn't know, Heston's is an exclusive retail brand that sells premium beds and premium bed accessories. And our result truly showed that music has a huge impact on the staff's overall well-being, and customers perceived the brand less expensive when the no brand fit soundtrack was playing compared when the brand fit music soundtrack was playing. However, we did not get any significant results in the sales. So what are your analyses around this one?
Yeah, this was a difficult experiment, I think. But I think the most, maybe the most memorized, or what I think is most fascinating with that story, is actually interviews that we did with the staff, the employees. Uh, because what I realized when I looked at those interviews is that how much music meant for their daily life. I mean, they didn't have many customers. As you said, it's a they sell very exclusive beds. So there are few customers per day. So they really get into the music. I mean, the music is very important for them during the day, and how they feel. Um, and that was very yeah. So for me, and that started also think about what we have done in other research, that you you need to think, as almost all studies in this area is focused on the consumers. So how do the consumers react? How do they feel? How do they behave when you play different kind of music? And there are surprisingly few studies on the staff and on the personnel. And here you could see it had a huge impact on the staff. However, uh, not so much on the customers. And you can, why? I think it's maybe because of the context. Maybe because they're just selling very exclusive beds. I would say it's not like going to a typical retail store. It's more like going into a car dealer and buying a new car or something. That it's that kind of expensive sometimes. So that also means that you're there for a long time. Maybe you're influenced by other things more than the music that is played in the store. So that's my take on that, and probably why we didn't really find any significant results on the different playlists. Another possible is that we got it wrong. I mean, that happens too. I mean, we didn't play the playlist that was perfect for that store. Maybe our playlist wasn't perfect. I don't know. It's still you. I think as a researcher, you will always have to have that kind of perspective. That maybe we didn't get it right that time.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and even if it was fun to be in New York for a while, it was also very challenging to do research from Stockholm, and the experiment was taking place in New York.
Because you can't control everything. That's the
No,
challenge of
exactly.
doing a field
Yeah,
experiment. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah, I do remember that, and I mean, the customers were staying when they were staying. I mean, between 15 minutes up to an hour,
yeah,
and I mean, from my perspective, I would say that when the customers came in and then directly met with the salesperson, because it's
yeah.
that kind of showroom, and then they would walk around for an entire hour, and there's a lot of conversation going on, and that is also something that people have to think about, that music suddenly becomes distracting. It becomes like a third person in the conversation,
Yeah,
and when you're buying something that expensive, you want to be able to listen to the salesperson.
yeah,
On the other hand, when there was no customers, then the staff were doing a lot of monotone tasks. And that is also proven in our normal lives, that when we're bored, cleaning our house or something, maybe you like, as you say, you like to listen to your hard rock music that pumps you, gives you energy, makes the time pass faster. And then I would probably say that in a showroom, buying something, I remember for university when we were studying that there's a difference between products where you can like buy it, and if you get it wrong, it's okay because it's so cheap anyway. Well, if you're buying like a bed, a car, or an exclusive trip, you're spending a lot of money, so getting it wrong is not an option. So maybe it's also like, in this case, yes, could have been the music, but could also be that buying a bed is not a spontaneous purchase.
Yeah, that was actually my so it's not, you have not this impulse buying in the same sense, but yeah, and that's probably also why we don't find any effects here, and that shows also, and then, I mean, that's in line with previous research. It shows that the effect of background music in stores is very context dependent. It depends on what kind of store you have. And in this case, it was probably, but we could see it mattered a lot for the employees for sure. That was interesting. I think it was one who said that there was some kind of playlist she or he said that was, well, when you're playing this, it's like shoot me literally or something.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, I know.
We actually have to sit with the staff and just smile.
Yeah. So it was interesting. Yeah.